Hello everyone, how's it going? It's your boy Skilled Fawn, and we're back doing another Elden Ring challenge run. I'm really excited to show you guys this Remembrance only run. We are starting a New Game Plus run. I went through previously at Rune level 1, and I kept one of the Remembrance rune things. We're going to use that, and so let's get straight on into the rules. So the rules for this run are going to be remembrance weapons only. So when you kill a boss, a remembrance boss, you'll gain their remembrance, and then you can bring it to the lady at the round table and get a weapon. We're starting at New Game Plus and at RL1, make things more fresh, which goes in line with the next one, imitate a new/fresh run. And I must defeat all the remembrance bosses, beat the game, and lastly is glitches and or exploits are allowed. And in this video you'll hear the Elden Ring's Frenzy Flame music if you guys are interested. So yeah, let's waste no time and get straight on into the run. And the nice thing about this is we are already starting like a new game plus, so we have torrent already, and you know, some of the mixed flask pieces. That's one reason why I wanted to sort of hinder myself at the beginning, so I'm not super overpowered, and you know, it's more like a fresh game. And so yeah, we're gonna absolutely cheese Commander O'Neill. This is very good to get runes, but of course I died. Very sad. But we're going to go back in and get him down. Get those nice runes, which will allow me to actually use my weapon. And this weapon, Malekith's Black Blade, is insanely good, especially its Ash of War. But we're going to go and grab the second Dectus, so now we can go to Altus a lot easier and grab some more talismans. Does not hurt, only going to help, and we are going to upgrade our weapon a little bit. We're going to go talk to EG. He is very useful for somber type weapons because you can just purchase the low upgrade material from him. But yeah, I was having a bit of trouble just because I did not have the most amount of health. So that was one thing I really wanted to do. I did upgrade my weapon so I could actually use it, but I didn't really upgrade my health at all, so I was getting kind of stomped. So I wanted to kill this putrid avatar and just get some nice runes. This one yields about 80k, I believe. It was very, very useful. And yeah, we're gonna head on into Margit and start the remembrance process. Gotta make our way towards all of them. And in Stormvale, we're gonna fight Godric, and very close by is Rennala in Raya Lucaria. And yeah, the good thing about Margit is he is very slow, but all of his attacks are too. They're very staggered, and some of them are very quick, but you gotta watch out for them. And just like that, we take him down. Pretty easy. But yeah, let's head on over to Red Wolf now. I figured we'll progress both ways and then fight them one after the other. And yeah, after Red Wolf does that second attack, you could try and do like a jump attack if you can, but I've been doing a lot. And yeah, he has like very little HP, so you're able to take him out even with like a non-upgraded weapon fairly easy. And so yeah, let's head on over to Rennala. We gotta take down her scholars with this aura on them, and this will allow us to actually damage her. She's floating up in the middle. And yeah, most of the time when I do fight Renal, it's gonna be like a 2-phase at worst, 1 phase at best, but this time it was a 3-phase fight. So, it just did take slightly longer. And yeah, we're gonna head on over to phase 2. And when you do start phase 2, always go for the running jump attack. It won't stagger her out. And then, yeah, just go for like an Ash of War charge attack afterwards. But yeah, she did absolutely dodge my charged. But, we're going to keep on going through and kill her. In her, like, second phase, she will spawn a bunch of spirit summons. So you just got to watch out for those guys. And yeah, at this point, we're going to head on into Godric now. Usually, you're going to fight him first if you're playing this for the first time. Because, he's very close to the starting area. But yeah, in phase 2, he'll have his dragon head. Can be a bit tough just because of the way fire behaves in this game. That's one reason why I do kind of despise Fire Giant, because whenever he does certain attacks, they can just ricochet off of everything. And yeah, we're just gonna pretty much get behind him as best as we can and try and get another stagger. And yeah, this Ash of War is insane. And that's the thing, is you haven't even seen the best of it. Wait for once we get to Plassey. But also, one thing I should mention is that with each of the bosses, I'm going to be using a different weapon, if I can. At least at the beginning, I'm going to use just Malekith's until I, start getting the other ones a little bit leveled up to the, same weapon level. So we're going to head on into Radahn, and then afterwards, once we kill him, we'll get his weapon and Godric's weapon. I was considering using Renala's and like going to her and doing the rebirth, but yeah, I'm just not really trying to use sorcery in this run, really. Same as incantations if a boss has that. Mostly just the weapons themselves. But we're going to do a little bit of Radahn cheese. This is always so fun. When he's trying to phase transition and get behind him on the horse and just absolutely smack him. And it definitely does take a bit of time just because I don't have the most damage. And this weapon is a bit slow, so you have to perfectly time when he's gonna, flip from left to right or whatever. But eventually we do get him very low and he staggers, and we're able to get a Destined Death hit, which finishes him. And that is another Remembrance boss down. And we still have a ton to go, but we're definitely making a dent. And yeah, we're going to head back into Altus and progress into Lindell a bit. But we got to take down DTS to get into the actual capital. And we're going to use Godric's weapon now. And this weapon is very fun to use. Its Ash of War is definitely not the best, but it is super fun. And so yeah, one last hit, and we're going to take DTS down and head on into Royal Capital. And there we will fight Goldfree and then Morgott. And I do love Morgott's weapon. It is pretty cool. It's a curved greatsword. So expect that. And yeah, Goldfree is quite easy. But I do get hit from time to time. Gotta play it pretty safe and slow. and just try and whenever he does that stomp to roll past him. If you are like too far away from him, jumping is another good option. I would not recommend rolling through it, because I don't know, at least I get hit very frequently from rolling through that. But yeah, eventually I'm trying to fish out the stagger, and I do get it. And eventually I get another stagger, so we're able to finish him off. Send him back. And yeah, next we are gonna fight Morgott. And also, I should mention, in the rules, I said that I would get the talismans kind of like a new game way. So when I would fight Margit, I'd put on one of the talismans, because you do get a talisman slot then. And then when I killed 2 of the great runes, I put one on. And once I finished off gold free, I put on one. I believe, at least. That's the way I intended for it to be. And then with the flasks, I wanted to start off with 4, and then once I got into Lindell, I would give myself a little bit, and then late game, I would give myself the rest of the flasks. But yeah, we take down Morgott to phase 2 using Radahn's weapons. They are so fun. A lot of the Ashes of War on these weapons are a bit tough to use. I mean, it is dependent on the boss fight itself, but this weapon's Ash of War is mostly meant for either like players or something, because it's supposed to like bring them towards you once you use it. But yeah, that was a super fun fight. I don't think I've ever used these weapons before, the Radahn weapons, so it's always nice to try new stuff out. And yeah, we're gonna head on into the mountaintops of the Giants and do the Commander Nile cheese. This is one of my favorite cheeses slash glitches in the game. Basically jump down and keep hitting your weapon, and it deloads the area above, basically killing him. And yeah, it's super easy. When you run through, you're able to get the Halig Tree piece very easily, the medallion. And so yeah, now we are at the Halig Tree, which means we have access to 2 bosses. Remembrance bosses. We got Mohg, Lord of Blood, and then Melania. We're gonna fight Mohg first, and then late in the game we'll take down Melania. I figured we'll take down Mohg. He has grown on me a lot as a boss. I do really like this fight. And the good thing about the weapon I'm using, which is Morgott's curved sword, it has blood damage. And Morgott, even though he is, or not Morgott, Mohg, even though he is the Lord of Blood, he does take more bleed damage. And yeah, I'm just going to be fishing for that stagger once again. Doing a jump attack. That's one thing I recommend if the boss's stagger animation isn't short, trying to go for another hit. And yeah, phase 2, we get his transition, and he's gonna spray his blood flames all over the ground. And yeah, that's one thing, is definitely stick around for once I use his weapon. I some funny moments with it. But yeah, that's definitely one thing I do need to get better about, is actually dodging his blood flame. Can be quite difficult, especially if it's just covering everywhere on the ground. But, you know, we take him out decently easy. We use a fair amount of flasks, but no worries. And so, yeah, next we are going to head to the underground roadside and then fight the other Mohg version. I figured we would use his weapon against him, but you know, not before getting death blighted. It's been a minute since I've had that. But yeah, I use the Blood Boon ritual against these little slugs in the in the sewers, and it just absolutely dropped my game to like 2 frames per second. It was so bad. But yeah, we're gonna head on into Moog the Omen's fight and use his weapon against him. It was very fun, and I had even more fun once I used it against Godskin Duo. The thing though that I don't like is just how long the charge attack is. But I mean, besides that, everything else is really good. We get a stagger, we're gonna absolutely pop him, and then eventually get another one, and then take him out. And one reason why I do like coming down here is just because I do like the Frenzied Flame ending. It is one of my favorite endings in this game. I think that and Ronnie's questline are my 2 favorites. But yeah, we take down Moog pretty easy. He was not expecting us to bring his own weapon against him and use it. But yeah, next we're gonna have to face one of Elden Ring's biggest killers, which is Gravity. Luckily, I did not die in this, but I have died a ton here in the past. You have to be very, very perfect with your jumps. But yeah, and then we're gonna head on down, break through this floor, and then acquire the Frenzied Flame. It is such a cool cutscene, getting the flame. From the 3 fingers, it is just the coolest thing. And yeah, we're gonna burn with that flame. And then afterwards, we're gonna head on over to Fire Giant. And if you've been watching me for a while, or you at least know my, you'll at least know my opinion on him a bit, which is I dislike him a lot. Him and like Sir Gideon and Radagon, those are my 3 bosses I dislike the most. For Fire Giant, I would have to say it's his flame attacks, like his breath attacks. They can just be so frustrating, the way they ricochet. But you know, it's not all the time. Sometimes he does cooperate with me. But yeah, we take down his leg brace, and he's gonna go into his phase 1.5, I guess you could say. And then yeah, we eventually take him into phase 2. And in his phase 2, you have to hit his hands to get the bonus damage instead of his leg. And if you hit him in his other leg, it just does very little damage, which you definitely can do, and that's usually what I do, but it's not the most optimal. And we're gonna head on into Ferrum Azula. And yeah, we're gonna use Moog's weapon again. This was very fun for this fight. And yeah, we're gonna bait Apostle to do that jump attack so we can sleep him. And then head on over to Noble and wait for him to do his fire attack. Noble has a lot more attacks that you can use the pots on. It's mostly the Apostle. If you throw it at the wrong time, he'll just dodge over and over. And yeah, the Blood Boon ritual just goes so hard. It's very good for duo or trio boss fights that can be bled. Like, I just did 10k damage right there. But I mean, definitely the downside to it is you're gonna put both of them into their second phase, which can be quite a lot, both of them coming after you. And yeah, we're gonna pierce the Formless Mother again and take down Noble. And with 1/3 health left, we're gonna take out the last guys. Gonna spawn one at a time until they're both back. And yeah, I usually am trying to hope for the Noble instead of Apostle. It's a lot easier. I know his moveset a lot now. especially after RL1+0. That absolutely destroyed me and made me a lot better at most of the boss fights in this game. And yeah, we're going to get a few bleed procs and then go for the charged attack so we can stagger him, hopefully. And yeah, just like that, we have them very, very weak. And we're going to take out Apostle, not before having a little dance party with him. Just meme around. And yeah, after Godskin Duel, we're going to head on over to Plassey. This is one of my favorite dragon bosses in the game. Him and Fortisax are definitely my favorite. And yeah, Destined Death on Plassey. I don't know, like, for whatever reason, he must be very weak to one of the, like, either, I'm guessing fire. I don't know, I'm not sure. But this weapon just absolutely demolishes him. Like, look at that damage. That is just insane. And that's just from one of the Ash of War. Sometimes I'm able to spam 2 at the same time and just get insane damage. But, yeah, nearly 4k every hit. I'm not going to be doing anything else but the Ash of War. And eventually we hit him again, and we're going to send him off to his Phase 2. And his Phase 2 is very, very frustrating at times, just because, well, one, he does this, like, Midir, like, laser beam, and he also can teleport, and despite his size, he is quite fast. So, yeah, you have to be careful for that. But yeah, eventually we get that last Ash of War in, and we're gonna melt him. And then, yeah, we're gonna head on into Malekith's fight. Do a Malekith v Malekith weapon. And yeah, these remembrances are using, or they do use really cool weapons, and they give you really cool weapons. When you do talk to the lady at the round table, she will give you 2 options for the remembrance. And some bosses do have 2 weapons, or they'll have like a weapon and an incantation, something like that. Yeah, I'm trying to punish Beast Clergyman / Malekith as best as I can. And eventually I do get that stagger, and we're going to send him off to Phase 2. And yeah, I figured since we're fighting him, we'll use the Blasphemous Claw. I did get that from my previous run. I haven't fought Rykard yet. That's the way that you usually are supposed to get it. You fight Rykard, and then that sends Bernal going crazy. And yeah, it is so cool once you do get that parry on Malekith. Just feels so cool. But I'm definitely better at parrying that compared to when he drops down. I know you can parry it, but I'm just not the best at it. And so yeah, 1 hit away, we're going to take Malekith down. And that means that Lindell, the Ashen Capital, is going to be turned to ash now. Because we got Destined Death. And so yeah, we're gonna use the Fire Giant's Whip against Sir Gideon the All Spammy. I definitely do not like him the most. In certain challenge runs, he has been like the hardest thing. For some reason, he just can spam his spells very frequently, and especially low level, if you get hit by like anything, it usually will kill you because of that incantation or whatever he puts on you. And so yeah, I'm gonna basically just keep the pressure on so he can't even heal himself or get a single attack off. The one nice thing about the whip is you have very long range. And yeah, I'm sorry, Sir Gideon. We are going to become the Elden Lord. I know you think I can't, but you're pretty lame. And yeah, next we got Godfrey. And we are going to be using the Dragon, I think, Crag Blade. That's what it's called. And one of the reasons why I wanted to use this is because Godfrey is weak to lightning. This will be very worthwhile, get that extra damage. And just like Goldfree, pretty much the same fight, except for his phase 1.5 and the entirety of his phase 2. In his phase 1.5, he'll, instead of having those rocks come out, it'll just be a massive area of effect. You just gotta be very careful. And it does cover like nearly the whole arena, so you're not gonna be safe if you just keep running away. But we do get that stagger, and we are gonna send him into phase 2 now. And yeah, that's definitely the one nice thing about lightning is I like his fight a lot. It's just his phase 2 can be quite difficult, especially with all of his grab attacks. Definitely do not want to be caught off guard. You usually will die if you don't have a ton of armor, defense, or you're low level, whatever. But yeah, we take him out, and then we are gonna head on into the Halig tree now. I figured it would be a good idea to go fight Melania and some of the other Remembrance bosses before Radagon. And so yeah, we're gonna go fight Loretta and then Melania and then the rest of the Remembrances. We do have most of them down now, but still have some left. And yeah, very nice. I got a bleed proc pretty quickly on Loretta. That's the one nice thing about this Ash of Wars. It does have a pretty big area of effect. But yeah, that's the kind of annoying thing about Loretta is she just has a ton of projectiles that she can use. So you're pretty much never safe from using something like that. And we're gonna watch out for her big attack. Do not want to get caught off guard by that. That will deal massive damage. And yeah, we're gonna head on into Melania's fight. And we're gonna use Morgoth's curved sword again. I have to say, out of all the Remembrance weapons so far, it's probably one of my favorite. Because, I mean, one, it has bleed damage, which is very useful, and its Ash of War is very cool. I don't use it too often because it is very circumstantial, but that in combination just with the great curved sword moveset is quite nice. So if I had to give a criticism to it, it would be that I hate the second charged heavy attack. It does like 2 in a row instead of just 1. So it takes like double the time. So usually, yeah, you can only do like 1 charge and then you gotta run away. Yeah, we get a massive bleed proc on Melania, nearly 5k damage, if not 5k right there. And I'm definitely not like the best at Melania, but I would say that she is one of the bosses I'm the most experienced with. And yeah, I do take her. Well, at first in this run I was trying to do her flawless with just like the littlest HP. I was using that red branch talisman, but yeah, I was not doing the hottest this time around, so I figured we would just do it the regular way. But if you are interested in seeing some of my flawless runs, go check them out on the channel. I've got plenty of them. And yeah, definitely be careful for her quick ass attacks. very similar to Radagon. She just has the quickest attacks in the game. And like 1 or 2 hits away, and we're gonna take her out. But you know, she loves doing those flower attacks. But yeah, another Remembrance boss down. We have most of them done. But we're gonna head on into Nokron and take out the Regal Ancestor Spirit. And then we got Lich Dragon Fortisax, and then Rykard, and yeah, lastly is Radon. So, or not Radon, Radagon. Gosh. But before we fight Regal Ancestor Spirit, we gotta light these areas. And there's about 5 or 6, and then you're able to head into the boss fight. And this Regal, or this Ancestor Spirit is different from the one that you find in the lower area. It can heal and has a bunch of different movesets. And yeah, it definitely is not like the most damaging boss. It is, I'm a bit over leveled for it, but it still is, you know, if you get hit over and over, you will die still. But yeah, in this boss fight, we're going to be using Godfrey's weapon, the Axe of Godfrey. Very fun weapon, especially its Ash of War. You basically do the same thing that Godfrey does, and you slam down your foot and do a massive stomp. And here we're going to see the first healing part. And it does suck because it just like heals nearly all the way, and it'll do it I think 1 or 2 more times, maybe more. Yeah, I killed it very quickly, so I just didn't even have to see any more of its healing phases if it did have more. But yeah, I do take a ton of damage. And definitely not my best fight, but we're just gonna take him down and be happy about it. And yeah, so for the next Remembrance, we're gonna take down Lich Dragon Fortisax. And to get there, we're gonna have to take down 2 bosses before, which is the Valiant Gargoyles and then Fia's Champions. And out of these 2, definitely the Gargoyles gave me the harder time. But also the Fia's Champions did give me some trouble because I was spamming Melania's Ash of War a bit. But yeah, that was a very fun weapon, Hand of Melania. And we're going to use it for this boss fight too. Though we are not going to be using its Ash of War. It is very circumstantial, and I would definitely say better for like a group of ads instead of just like a boss. But yeah, that's the thing about Fortisax, is you cannot be standing in the same place for a long time because you will get damaged from the lightning that lingers around you. And so yeah, we're just gonna be trying to get his feet over and over, trying to hit them. And yeah, I did want to go for a stagger if I could, but I did not play the best there. I used a ton of my stamina, but we do take him down. I had no heals left, very scary one. But next we're going to head on into Estelle, Natural Born of the Void. And yeah, we're going to use the Regal Ancestor Spirit, that weapon. And I have to say, I was quite surprised damage from it. Though Estelle is kind of a weak boss. I would say like a mid-game boss. But yeah, I mean, like it absolutely melted him, which was very nice. I usually don't get a stagger in Estelle's fight, and I did get it with this weapon. There's also just the way I played in this run versus other ones. I was a bit more aggressive with him. But yeah, eventually we'll get him into his phase 2 where he does his massive, like, asteroids that come down, like, 50 plus. But, yeah, I mean, still, and, like, these, creatures are just, like, the most unique looking ones in the game, I have to say. Like, a massive eye on the top of, skull is is very unique. But yeah, I wasn't sure if I could hit Estelle and then go for a riposte hit, but yeah, that just told me I was not able to. And yeah, another Remembrance boss down. We only have 2 left. We got Rykard and then Radagon. And so yeah, one thing that I highly recommend is using a status effect on Rykard if possible, if like you're not using the Serpent Hunter, just because he and its first phase has a ton of health and you're just gonna get a lot more use out of your time. But yeah, definitely play it quite slow, and you know, just make sure you're not getting hit a bunch so you can actually have flasks for the whole fight. But yeah, we get his phase 1 down, and I use my mixed flask so I regain a small amount of HP per second, which is quite nice because it kind of counteracts the flames on the ground. And yeah, Rykard's fight takes a ridiculous amount of time if you do it this way. Even with the status effects, it just absolutely takes a lot of time. So yeah, for the next couple minutes, I'm going to be hitting him, trying to get the bleed proc, and then when he goes into his like phase 2.5, we're going to be running around the arena, because it's really hard to fight him when all those skulls are coming down. You definitely can do it, but you're going to be wasting a lot of flasks. And yeah, with about like a third left to go, we are closing in, about to take him down, and eventually we get a nice little bleed proc that finishes him off. And yeah, that is Rykard down. And yeah, I mean, you may say a serpent never dies, Rykard, but I mean, maybe in the DLC we'll truly finish you off. Or if it's a prequel, we'll see your self beforehand. I'm actually very curious if they do that, how he would be in his boss fight, if they included him. But yeah, we're gonna head on into Radagon and Elden Beast, the final remembrance, and we're gonna use Rykard's weapon, which is very cool. I will say I don't know if I've actually ever used it. And if I have, it's been like a very little amount, because I mean, I know what it does and stuff, but it is just like such a cool weapon. Yeah, we're gonna take Radagon basically to half health within like a very short amount of time, and then head on over to Elden Beast fight. And Elden Beast can be quite tough just because of his Elden Stars and a bunch of his attacks that they can deal a lot of damage. Luckily though, I do have the talisman that gives me a bunch of holy resistance. So if I do get hit, it's going to take a little less damage. And yeah, we're just going to basically be doing a ton of charge attacks. And then when he does get staggered, we'll do 2 large swipes and then go for the riposte. We're going to maximize our damage as best as possible. And that's definitely something I recommend for you guys if you, or when you fight Elden Beast. And yeah, we do get him to a third. And at like about half health, he will do the Elden Stars. And we Thankfully, we're able to get past that. It can be quite scary, but no worries. And very nice, we do get that stagger, and we're gonna do 2 more charge attacks and get the riposte. And yeah, that is Elden Ring Remembrance Weapons only. It was definitely one of the most fun, challenging runs I've done. And it's like really nice too because I got to use a bunch of weapons. It takes me back to my first challenge run I ever did, which was after I killed a boss. I had to switch weapons. And yeah, so we're gonna do the Lord of Frenzied Flame ending. And while that's playing, I'll talk a bit. So we've got a bunch of really cool stuff coming to the channel. We've got a ton of Elden Ring stuff. I've got tools only coming to the channel, along with dexterity only, and some other really fun runs. In Demon Souls, we're going to be doing a Fractured World, Hands of God run, and some more. And yeah, I mean, there's some like Need for Speed stuff. I know a lot of you guys aren't the biggest fans or just don't tune into it. But it is still such a cool game in my opinion, and in that particular run, it was like one of the hardest runs I've done. I may say that quite often, but RL1 plus 0 and the Nuzlocke for Need for Speed were very tough. That and tools only have been like the longest and the hardest. But yeah, it is it's really good though to do these challenge runs because you are able to get slightly better each time, and you know, your knowledge of the game improves. But you definitely will experience a ton of pain depending on your challenge parameters. And so yeah, thank you guys for tuning into the video. I greatly appreciate you guys coming and watching. It means the world to me. If you guys did enjoy this, please drop a like, subscribe, and comment. I'd love to see that, and with most of the comments, I will reply. So yeah, expect, like I said, more challenge runs coming soon. I think in these next upcoming weeks, I'm going to be doing one more challenge run per week, just so you know, I'm putting more stuff on the channel uh, that you guys like, especially with like the Soulsborne stuff. And yeah, it's definitely very tough, some of these runs, but this one was quite easy. And so we're gonna head on out. Melena's gonna tell us that Destined Death is gonna kill us by her hand. But no, Melena, no. We are the Lord, and we're gonna take you down. I mean, maybe in the DLC we'll see her like this. That would be insane if they somehow made this the canon ending. But yeah, so expect more runs. I greatly appreciate you guys coming. And yeah, Skilled Fun out.